What's going on, CDL community? I'm back again, Spencer Peterson, aka Spinna, Senior Manager of Player Relations at the Call of Duty League. And again, we're here to do another community update. And as always, I'm with my partner in crime, Daniel. Daniel is the GM of the Call of Duty League. What's going on, Daniel?
I'm good, Spencer. It's good to be back. Thanks for hosting this again for us. Definitely appreciate that. It's crazy that it's been a couple weeks already since our last update. There's been a ton going on. I'm excited to speak with the community about some different questions that's been going on, give a little peek under the hood just a couple days before we crown a Major 1 champion. And so, a lot to discuss.
Agreed. I said we don't waste any time. Let's just hop right into it. Daniel, I think it makes sense to start with the current state of the game in Vanguard. How are we looking there?
Yeah, Spencer, I think that's a good starting place. We've been continuing to collaborate with the devs at Sledgehammer on just how to make this as fun and competitive as possible. And so we've had a couple of recent conversations that I'd love to apprise the community on of different fixes and items to change. First on the list, we know we've seen a little bit of chatter about this, but it's around control mode and how the round 5 tiebreaker is set. We're happy to announce that we are going to change the round 5 tiebreaker to be based on ticks of the objective versus just kills. And so hopefully that's going to incentivize people to play the objective a little bit more. Hopefully that should be well received by our pros and the community. And then, secondly, one of the items that we've had a lot of emphasis on over the past several weeks that you, Spencer, have been a part of a lot is just discussions between our players and the devs on how to make these maps even more competitively viable, moving around bomb sites, hill sites, et cetera, et cetera. And so at the end of all that, I think one of the fruitful discussions we've had is moving the A bomb site in S&D from Bocage from inside the building to the outside patio. So hopefully that should lead to some better gameplay and more entertaining for everyone all involved. Last thing I would mention, just because we've seen this a lot, is on smokes. And a lot of different characteristics around smokes that are leading for it not to be used in CDL gameplay right now. Just wanted to let everyone know that this is definitely something we've been discussing with Sledgehammer. It is absolutely on their radar. Hopefully we can have more to share later on, but it's definitely something that we've been discussing with the devs.
One thing before we move on, have you heard anything about the new maps that were added and how is it looking on that front?
Yeah, Sledgehammer added 2 new maps in Season 2. And so the pros have been hard at work testing those 2 maps, and you and the comp ops team have been working with them on just seeing their viability for CDL play. I don't think Gondola will make it into our map set right now. Casablanca is still evaluating whether it's viable for certain modes, but still a little bit early to tell. But hopefully more to update there soon. I think in general we want to add more maps to our rotation, so hopefully those can prove out.
Moving along, there's been some changes to the broadcast talent team. How do you think they've been doing so far?
Yeah, it's been great seeing a lot of the old and new faces to our talent. I think it's a really fun group, good chemistry in that in-studio atmosphere. It's been great to see. In particular, I think promoting Bryson Tunn up from Casting and Challengers. They've been doing great. Veli and Ali have been adding a ton of energy to the desk. So overall, really, really happy with the new look. One item, Spence, I do want to address is just obviously a lot of community discourse about 2 noticeable missing faces from CDL so far, Merk and Maven. We have to talk about it. I am excited to announce that they are back for our CDL season. They were always part of our plans. We just couldn't talk about it because there were ongoing negotiations, but those are complete. And so I'm excited to say these 2, who are obviously extremely talented, are going to be part of our biggest and brightest moments of the CDL with our majors and our playoffs and our champs. Excited to see them. They're obviously been so great over the years, and I think our fans will be really happy to see them in those biggest and brightest moments.
I don't think anyone's going to be more excited than YouTube chat here, but it's super great having Clint and Joe back on the team, and really excited to see both those guys soon, upcoming at the major. Let's move on to a topic we've seen discussed a lot on social media, especially when players lose, but those online servers. I think there's been a little bit of, confusion around how servers are chosen and what the league feels like is a proper, setting for servers for each individual match. Can you comment on how those things are chosen?
Yeah, Spencer, I think, us providing some detail on how we just manage the online gameplay process probably makes a lot of sense and would help our audience. I think it all revolves around data, first off, right? Before the season begins, we run a bunch of tests between our teams, our comp ops team, just pinging our array of servers throughout North America, right? And we collect all those pings. And then when we actually get into the season, we look at the latency of between each team and a server. And we choose a server that shows that it would be between 10 milliseconds of play latency between the two teams for a live match. That's really the goal here. Is we're always trying to search for a server that we've tested previously that shows that it'll be within 10 milliseconds. And over the couple weeks, we've gotten better and better testing in a live setting. And I'm happy to note, we have about 90% of our matches thus far have been within that 10 millisecond goal of ours. And I think we're going to continue getting better and better as we continue getting more data and live ping tests. The second thing I'd say about online gameplay that I'm really excited to announce is in the off season, we developed some new technology to help this process in a minimum latency tool. So essentially, if two different teams are vastly different in pings, more than 10 milliseconds, we can actually manually add ping to one team or another to make sure that it's more even playing ground. We actually launched this in week 3 to success in some of our live matches. And so that was great to see. And the last thing I'd say, Spencer, is listen, I know online gameplay is something we need to always be optimizing. It's not a LAN environment, but it's something that is we believe in and we think we can always do better on. And so we've been adding more and more servers. Just this past season, we've launched a new Midwest server, which has been used a ton. And that's been a great addition. We're looking to add some more as well, probably in that Southeast region. That should help optimize pings even further. So, all in all, we're attacking this with every lever we know how. We use data to do so. It's not just geography that we're choosing. It's not just, licking in our thumb and sticking it in the wind. We're trying to do the best we can with real numbers.
Let's move on to a more serious note. There was a discussion about COVID protocols after Kickoff Classic and what was in place there. Can you let us know where we are at with those moving into Major 1?
Yeah, Spencer. Look, this is a sensitive subject. It's a tough one because it's such a personal topic, right? Where everyone has very differing opinions, even 2 years into this pandemic. When we develop our health and safety protocols, we really look to smart people to help us in guiding that decision, right? So it starts off first and foremost with what are the health and safety protocols of the local, of any local mandates or regulations, right? We really lean on those. We look at what the health experts are saying. And we also look at what comparative sporting events are doing, right? The fact is we operate in a live event business. And with that, there's inherent risk to COVID exposure, right? We're in the business of putting in these awesome events. And there's risk with that. There's also risk with everyday life. But rest assured, when you come to our events, we are always going to be meeting or exceeding any sort of local safety mandates. And then just to touch upon one item that you raised on Kickoff Classic, I think it's worth us just going through what the safety and protocols are for that and what they are going forward, just the facts at hand. For Kickoff Classic and for Major 1, we will have a mask mandate for our audience. Coupled onto that with our players and our staff, everyone is required to have a negative COVID test before entering the venue. And then we also have optional tests throughout the weekend to supplement that. What I'm really happy and proud to say is, a tad over 90% of our players are actually fully vaccinated. And I expect that number to get close to 100%, if not 100%, by mid-season, to further make sure we're all as healthy and safe as can be. Listen, I think one thing one thing you can always get out of us, and our commitment to our audience, to our teams, to our players, and our staff is we're going to try to do things as safe as possible, and we're always going to meet and exceed our local mandates.
All right, Daniel, let's hop into the last topic of today, which is about our rookies. These guys have been absolutely frying so far this season. What is there to share about those guys?
Yes, man, they've really been crushing it this season. I think seeing the impact of 8 rookies starting a match and contributing to so much of the team's success has been really cool to see. You see what Sib and Pred are doing up in Seattle, and Cap's been crushing it in Boston. I think one of the big storylines out of this season that's been really heartening for us at the league office is just see players come out of the challengers scene and absolutely thrive. I think most people know that one of the main objectives of challengers is to make sure we have a strong path to pro, and with 8 rookies making their might felt, I think that's definitely being accomplished. So really glad to see our teams taking advantage of that. The only other thing I want to mention, Spencer, that we're pretty excited about is with so much awesome rookie talent this year, it only feels right that we finally have a Rookie of the Year award. Probably, Shotzi in year 1 of the CDL probably wishes we had it then, because almost certainly he would have won it. And last year, I think the Standy and Insight competition was pretty cool. But this year, we will officially crown a winner. And with so many rookies making an impact, I really can't see who wins it. Like there's so many that could probably take that crown.
You're right. That race is going to be super exciting, and the future is looking insane for talent coming into the CDL. But Daniel, I think it's about time we wrap this thing up. Is there anything else you want to hit on before we hop on out of here?
Definitely want to send a big shout out to Treyarch. Rank play is finally out, and so I hope everyone's been able to play that. It's truly the closest thing we've had to CDL gameplay, and it's really fun. I hope everyone's been able to enjoy it, but hats off to Treyarch. Thank you so much for ideating that mode with our pros and working so hard on it. It's been awesome to see. And lastly, to the community, please continue to share feedback with us in general, or specifically what you'd like to see on these updates. This update series is really for us to connect directly with the community, to answer questions you may have, bring things that are behind the scenes up to the front and into the light. So please keep us honest on that, and we'll continue sharing as we go along. But otherwise, I hope everyone enjoys the conclusion of Major 1, and I'll see everyone around Major 2. Thank you.